We're common loaded for bear. Made a walk around video. I am going to show you guys tearing old reliable apart. And I just finally got this all cleaned up. Let me give you a little walk around and show you how I like to set up before I tear an engine apart. My background, I've been a mechanic for 20 years. I recently became the boss, so drug all my tools home. But anyway, walk you guys around. Hang on. So bench space. Here's my new connecting rods, rings, bearings, a new oil pump drive. I got my little engine assembly tools, the rocker gears off of the car there with the blown up engine. We're going to take this apart. I got a little bench space over here, my tool cart that I can push around. Clean this all up, drug these out of the corner over there. And I got my parts room. I got this kind of all organized and everything kind of situated in my parts room. So it's 11 o'clock. I've been out here for like 3 hours doing all that. I'm gonna have to drag my Hemi parts bin out, which has all my RCD gear drive stuff, a bunch of bolts, studs, miscellaneous stuff, O-rings, kind of every little spare part that goes in a Hemi, in terms of like just little things. These are old fuel heads, so that is a block off for nitro rail. Got an RCD bearing support gear drive. I have them on both my motors. I just got them inexpensively, so if you're kind of new to the channel, do things as cheaply as possible, as inexpensively as possible. This is an old KB block. I think it's a stage 5 block. It's a 54 millimeter cam. It's an oddball because it's got a factory Chrysler lifter bank angle and a standard cam height. Most race Hemis are raised with an inch lifter. That motor is a stage 10 block that's blowed up, 904, 45 degree lifter bank angle, and raised cam, which is like a 1/4 inch raised on these. Anyway, so we got some various counter space around the garage in case we need to set stuff, but because I have multiple motors apart, I just you just can't have enough bench top space. So I got my little radio with Pandora gonna be playing, and that's kind of all I need. It's a little bit of a bitch to get this off the stand. The stand's super nice, but it's not that fun putting a motor on here. And then I gotta wrangle bolts up. Unfortunately for me, 2 of my torque wrenches, my 3/8 torque wrench and my 1/4 drive and my valve lashing tool, are in my trailer stuff boxes that I just shoved. This like whole rack was out of a trailer, so that sucks. Other than that, I'm gonna put you guys in time lapse, and I'm gonna get this thing up on the stand and start tearing it apart. This thing probably has almost 70 passes on it. It was like 67 passes or something. We called it old reliable because literally the last 45 passes in it never kicked a push rod. We never had any problems. I did a little bit of a freshen on those laps. I shoved a different crank in. Or maybe it's got 67 on that. I don't know. I put a lot of laps on stuff. So this motor had too much power for the Dart, my old 70 Dodge Dart, the Devil Dart. We ran out of chassis. We upgraded to that car. Quickly found the limit. I was wheeling. It did go 101 to the 60, but I couldn't keep the front end down. And then out the back door, the car was just out of control. So I double frame railed it. You could look back through my other videos last winter. Carbon fiber from the firewall back, strange modular rear end housing, 10-inch ring gear, all the bitchin' stuff. Went to a lithium battery, dropped a bunch of weight out of the car, and then the motor that was in there was a piece of fuck all season and never could make a good pass. But right before it blew up, the old adage is they run the best before they blew up. It kicked the rods out of the thing, but it gave me one beautiful pass. So typical race car. I'm all in again because I just you know, got that beautiful pass, and I'm excited to be back out here. So, too much talking, here we go. Let me give you guys a little tech tip too, that is very helpful to me. Years ago, I had my kids, I paid them, not very much, because they were little, to put all the bolts in these little bins, 5/16. I showed them a size, and I said, find all these bolts and put them in here. I have multiple 3/8 bins. But when I dump these out, it is so handy to just scoop them right off the edge back in here, and I can get all my 3/8 bolts out here and start looking. But the other thing I've got is engine stand and plate bolts. So like I have really nice washers, so if I need to pick an engine by the intake manifold, there's little 5/16 bolts with big washers that are nice and thick, and all my stand bolts, so I don't have to go hunting around for a bunch of bolts. And then if I'm in a pinch, I just never ever take anything out of here. Like, I know there's some good bolts in there, but anyway. And this thing, a little plug for Tim McCamus. We don't need any fucktard stuff happening here, and don't ever buy a China one of those things. So that's my strap. It gets kind of hinky pulling these off, and all of the head bolts are loose because these heads are fresh, and I slid them back on here and didn't tighten anything. So I'm gonna have to rattle a nut on there, a couple of nuts, and then pick them up by the exhaust manifold bolts, get this thing out of here. So just want to keep you guys updated. I actually found a really good tool to use pulling this apart. So I was just using a harmonic balancer puller, but what I found was that I cut up a broken push rod, a 7/16 push rod that had bent, because the crank bolt is so long you just can't really get it in there. Anyway, it really helped me. Thought I'd pass that along. Let's focus. So got this thing all tore apart. I can pull the crank out of here. I want to show you guys the thrust. I don't know if you can tell how big this side of the thrust is compared to this side, but definitely was due. I rolled bearings in this at one point, but there's the thrust surface. Now, I do a little mod to the bottom bearing, and it helps like double the life of that thing, but 'tis the life of the turbo car. Just a little bit of a hard life. Looked like there was a little bit of debris that went through this thing. A couple of the rods too. But all in all, I don't see anything that's making me too concerned. So here's number one. Yeah, that had a little bit of junk go through it. I'm going to measure these pistons up and the skirts up. But there's its sister, and it did not get anything. I sure like these king coated bearings. Got number 3. I mean, dude. A little debris that went through there too. But all in all, so I'm gonna measure the skirts on these things. Make sure the skirt's not collapsing on any of these bad boys. See if we can get another run out of them. The rings all move freely, so no rings are pinched. All in all, man, this thing looks pretty healthy for the amount of passes that's on it. This block has a repair. And then some custom mods on the starter for a factory Chrysler starter, which was fun to do in the car. This thing just needs, I think we'll measure the pistons and the sleeves up, and these heads are all fresh. Go through these rocker arms, make sure they're all good to go, all the rollers. But this is my nice set of rockers, and these are pretty nice. And then camshaft. Yeah, this is just a spare. Fun fact, this is a factory Chrysler. Oh, it's Moroso or Mylodon. But to fit an RCD pump, you have to file these. You have to file this thing. That's where all that Prussian blue is. And if you don't, you can't get it back out, which was a slide hammer on some vice grips, dude. So this is in the spare box. And I have a new one, which these things are actually not that easy to find. But you just got to take a couple thousandths off of it, which is just a little time with a file. Yeah, RCD gear drive. Got my inch lifters. Got to check them out. We got bags of those things. Yeah, other than that, head gasket, something of note. Newer Hemi heads that aren't from 1996, like the new stuff, they got O-rings for the oil pressure that comes through the head and the drain backs. And if you don't goop these things, what happens is the fuel hoop can hold this off of the head, and you'll just get a leaky, like a sieve when it's running, if it's the pressure side. And of course the combustion chamber is all sealed up, or the drain backs. And so common practice is to goop this all the way around. And this isn't a lot of goop. It just squished, and it sure made, that's right stuff. And actually it really never leaked, but it's going to be a little bit of a bitch to clean up. So that sucks. And that's one of the drawbacks of old Hemi stuff. Yeah, and we'll take a good look at cam bearings and see if we need to put some new cam bearings in there. But otherwise, we'll probably take some of these plugs out, reseal them, all these plugs, reseal all those. Yeah, get this thing all cleaned up and looking good. Was out here finding a list of stuff. I need don't have any spare rear main seals. So got to order some stuff from my friends at RBS Superchargers. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thanks for following along. We got this thing all tore apart. And next step will be getting it checked out, measure everything, go through all my pistons and see what else I need to order, making a little list. And I should have everything I need to put that together. So going through the box of parts that I got, making sure I got thrust washers for setting the backlash on the camshaft, and yeah, just go through everything like that and put this other Hemi together. Anyway, thanks for following along. All right, smash that like button and subscribe.